All right. So in the previous class, I showed you the brief introduction of plant kingdom, right? Wherein we discussed that under the kingdom Plantae, there are several divisions that are present, right? So we have to study each of these divisions, such as algae, bryophyte, just like how we had phylums in animal kingdom. The same exact thing here in plant kingdom is called as the division. Okay, so it is algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. Okay, we are going to study each
Yes,
of
ma'am.
these divisions. Now, before this, we had also seen this particular classification system in the biological classification chapter. Okay, so here we saw artificial system of classification, wherein only morphological features were used, right? And it was
Yes,
given by
ma'am.
Aristotle. So how did he divide the organisms?
And based on the features,
Huh, how?
visible
Like what
features.
were the divisions that he took or he said?
Like for plants, the classified as shrubs, herbs,
Huh,
trees.
yes, depending upon their size. And then for
Hmm.
animals,
For animals, the color of their blood and
whether RBC is present or not, for that he.
hmm,
Yeah. Then there was the natural system of classification, which was given by Bentham and Hooker, and he used morphology, anatomy, cytology, all of these things into consideration. And last came
hmm.
the phylogenetic system, wherein the evolutionary history, along with all of these important characters, they were taken into consideration, right? So all in all,
Yes, ma'am.
these are the basic classification systems. Now, when is your biology exam?
No idea, ma'am. They did not give the dates yet.
You haven't given the dates yet.
No.
But the portion is this only, right? Living world, biological
Hmm.
classification, and plant kingdom, the first three chapters.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now, after that, there comes the taxonomy. And you already know that taxonomy is that branch of science which will be dealing with the identification of organism, classification of organism, and later on, nomenclature of that organism. And can you tell me which type of nomenclature do we use?
Binomial taxonomy. No. Binomial nomenclature.
And who gave this nomenclature?
Carolus Linnaeus.
Very good. And Carolus Linnaeus is known as the
Father of father of uh,
father of
taxonomy. I don't
tax.
remember. Hmm.
Yes,
Hmm.
taxonomy. Now see, this taxonomy, it has several different branches. Okay, it is used in many a types and used in many fields. So for example, the different branches of the taxonomy, the first one is numerical taxonomy, which is commonly known as phonetics. So here what we do is like we utilize plus and minus to say that, okay, if the character is present, we put a plus. If the character is not present, we put a minus there. So it's like with the help of plus and minus, we characterize the organism. We evaluate, like we are going to evaluate the possible similarities that are there or the dissimilarities that are there. Okay, with the use of this. So numerical taxonomy, it involves the usage of numerical methods for the evaluation of similarities and differences between the species with the help of computers. Okay. For example,
Yes, ma'am.
if we put a plus in the character, then that means that the character is present. If we put a minus, it's not present. And if we put a zero, it's not available at all. So this is numerical taxonomy, which is also called as phonetics. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Then after that, the next type of taxonomy is cytotaxonomy or karyotaxonomy. See, cyto means cell. So the taxonomy of the
Hmm.
cell, we call it as cytotaxonomy. And the taxonomy of the nucleus, karyon means nucleus. So the taxonomy of the nucleus, we call it as karyotaxonomy. So this one, it is based on the cytological information. Cytological means all those informations that are based on the cell's information, like the
Hmm.
type of cell, like whether it has a membrane or not, how many chromosomes are present inside the nucleus, right? What is the structure of the chromosome? What is the behavior of the cell? Then what is the composition of the cell? All of that. So that type of taxonomy would be called as cytotaxonomy or karyotaxonomy. If you are looking at the cellular structure, only the cell, like overall the cellular structure, like how many nuclei are there, how many ribosomes are there, right? Then you call it as cytotaxonomy. But if you
Yes,
are
ma'am.
looking at the structure of the nucleus, inside the nucleus and everything, then you call it as the karyotaxonomy. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
After that, there comes chemotaxonomy. So when you are basing things off of the chemical nature of the plants. Okay, chemical nature means the DNA, the protein, the
Mm.
RNA, all of that. The, like imagine it like at the molecular level, at the levels of carbons and hydrogens and oxygens. Then we call it as chemotaxonomy. Clear? So the three different types
Yes,
of
ma'am.
taxonomies are clear to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Then comes the divisions of the kingdom Plantae. The first one that you're going to talk about is algae. Now see, I'll tell you like in general, in all of the divisions that we are going to see, there are few things that we will be noticing. For example, when we studied animal kingdom, we saw whether it is cellular organization, tissue, organ system, right? Then we
Yes,
saw
ma'am.
circulation, closed or open. We saw digestive system,
Mm.
this thing, complete, incomplete, all of that. Same way, in
Yes,
plants
ma'am.
also, you're going to see something. So first of all, the thing that you're going to see, like if I say a plant, okay, and I ask you to think about a plant or form an image of a plant, which kind of image comes to your mind? If I say a plant,
Simple grass or a tree.
grass or a tree, or in general, like the things that would be like flowers,
Green in
root,
color.
stem,
Flower.
leaves, all of these parts would come into your mind, right? So in the
Mm.
plant, we are going to see whether the body of the plant has been divided into root, stems, leaves or not. First, this is going to be our
Mm.
criteria. Second, whether which kind of gametes do they have. Okay, then we are also going to see whether they have complex structures or simple structures. Okay, then we are going to see
Mm.
their sexuality, whether both of them are present in one or separate. All of these things are going to be seen in the different divisions. So the most basic, the lower plant, if anyone would say which is the lowest plant, you'll say algae.
Mm.
Have you seen algae in real life?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you might have seen even while walking on the
Mm.
road also, like if there is like a lot of rain, it had happened, then the
Mm.
roads, they develop a
Mm.
very sticky, slimy substance on it. That's algae. Right.
Mm.
So when we talk
Yes, ma'am.
about algae, they are very simple organisms and they are thalloid. Thalloid means their body is like thallus. For example, if you take
Callus meaning thread like, right?
no. If you take
No?
a poly bag, okay, fill it up with water,
Mm.
tie it up, and then you place it on your hand, how will its shape become? It will just spread on your hand, isn't it?
Mm. Mm.
Are you imagining? I'm giving you a visual of that.
Yes.
You take a poly bag, fill
Mm.
it up with water, tie it, and then you keep that bag
Mm.
on your hand. It will be like this,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So that is thalloid. Thalloid means a plant body which is not differentiated. You cannot see root, stem, leaf, nothing in them. It's just like
Mm.
a mass of cell. That's it. Okay, you cannot see the root, you cannot
Yes,
see
ma'am.
the stem, you cannot see the leaves. Obviously, they are green in color. It means that they have chlorophyll in them. And if they have chlorophyll, then they can make their own food.
Mm.
Now, algae, they are aquatic in habitat, right? They cannot, like,
Yes,
they are
ma'am.
mostly found in water habitats only. And
Mm.
they can be
Mm.
marine and fresh water, right? Marine water is the one that has
Mm.
salt in it. Fresh water is the one that
Yes,
is
ma'am.
free of salt. So the
Mm.
algae, they are aquatic in habitat, so they can be found in marine and fresh water. They also occur in habitats such as moist stone, soil, and even on the wood they grow. Many a
Mm.
times they come in, you remember symbiotic association? They were associated
Yes,
with
ma'am.
fungus and we called it as lichen.
Mm.
So they can be found in
Mm.
a symbiotic association as well. And they are of variable sizes, meaning you can see a microscopic algae also, and macroscopic algae also. So if we talk about the
Hmm.
microscopic unicellular algae, the best example is Chlamydomonas. This is the one that is microscopic and just made up of one cell. Whereas it forms a colony in the case of volvox, and it is filamentous like Eulothrix, Spirogyra, right? And then some massive plant bodies are also there, which are called as kelps. But none of them are going to have roots, stems, and leaves. None of them.
Hmm.
And since they are aquatic, they live in the water only, so they do not need any special water conducting tissues. So they do not have xylem and phloem in them. Because they are living in the
Yes, ma'am.
water, so they don't need anyone to
Hmm.
transport water. They are surrounded with water. What is the function of xylem and phloem?
Xylem transport the water throughout the plant, and phloem transport the food produced by the plant
Very
throughout.
good. So that is the function of xylem and phloem. So these xylem and phloems, they are absent in them. So we call them as avascular plants. Just like how in our body we have
Hmm.
arteries and veins, which are called as vessels of a body. Same way in the
Hmm.
plant, xylem and phloems, they are called as the vascular tissues. So since they do not have the vascular tissues present, we call them as avascular. Okay.
Yes,
Always
ma'am.
remember that these plants, meaning the algae as a group, as a division, they do not have any vascular tissues. When we talk about
Hmm.
the reproduction in them, so reproduction in algae, it takes place by vegetative method, asexual method, and sexual method. All the three methods are available. So when we talk about the vegetative, first of all, you only tell me the difference between vegetative, asexual, and sexual.
Vegetative, like they can regenerate from a part of their body. Asexual is where one parent is involved to produce an offspring, and
Yes.
sexual is two parents are involved to produce an offspring.
Yes, exactly. Vegetative reproduction or vegetative propagation is when the parts other than the reproductive parts are involved in the reproduction, right?
Hmm.
The body parts.
Hmm.
Asexual is when only one parent is involved, and sexual is when biparental situation is there. So when we talk about
Hmm.
the vegetative reproduction in algae, the best example of it is fragmentation. In which organism does this take place?
Pyrogyra.
Spirogyra, exactly. So in the
Hmm.
Spirogyra, vegetative reproduction fragmentation takes place. Meaning, in the Spirogyra, the parent body breaks into two or more fragments, and then each of those fragments are going to develop into a new thallus. Clear?
Hmm.
What is
Yes,
the
ma'am.
difference between fragmentation and regeneration?
Hmm.
Like in
Fragmentation,
Spirogyra,
regeneration.
the body is breaking, each of the fragments are growing into new organisms. In regeneration, such as in
Hmm.
planaria, if you break them into certain parts, each of those parts will grow into new planaria. So what is the difference in between? They almost sound similar.
They do sound almost similar, but in regeneration, hmm, they
Mhm.
grow back their body parts, right? It's the original organism itself.
So here also, Spirogyra's body parts only are going to get fragmented. And each of those fragmented body parts are only going to become Spirogyra. So what is the difference?
Hmm. No.
See, in the Spirogyra, the fragmentation process, like for example, when the Spirogyra becomes mature, then their body breaks into fragments. Each of those fragments become adult. Hmm? In
Hmm.
regeneration, it's a by chance process. By chance it got cut, then it will regenerate. But in
Hmm.
Spirogyra, it is a routine procedure. It will happen that way. It will get mature. It will get broken into fragments. Each of those fragments are going to develop into new organism. But in regeneration, it's like
Hmm.
by chance if they got cut. Or if we willingly go there and cut them, then it's not a routine procedure.
Hmm.
It's the ability. But here it's a procedure. Got
Hmm.
it? That's the major difference.
Yes, ma'am.
Then in the algae, the asexual reproduction takes place by the asexual spores. So whenever these spores will be released from one parent and whenever they will land on the, like wherever the suitable area is there, they will germinate and become a new plant. The most common type of asexual spores that are found in the algae are zoospores. And these zoospores, they are motile spores. Motile means they have a flagella present, right? And it usually looks
Yes,
like
ma'am.
this. They have two flagella present and these flagella helps them to move around, to swim around in the water. Then comes the sexual reproduction. Now, sexual reproduction will be taking place by the fusion of the male and the female gametes. Now, the sex organs in the case of algae, they are unicellular sex organs. They are not multicellular. And other than that, they are non-jagged, meaning they are not surrounded by an external layer. These are the two things. Okay. And depending upon the types of gametes that are fusing, the whole entire sexual reproduction is of three types. It is isogamous, anisogamous, and oogamous, meaning the types of sexual reproduction. Firstly,
Yes, ma'am.
if the gametes that are fusing, they are exactly the similar to each other. Okay, exact replicas of each other, two similar gametes, when they fuse, then we call it as isogamous. Both the gametes have to, iso means same, gamous means the thing that is happening because of the gametes. So these gametes, they are similar in size, and other than that, they can be flagellated or non-flagellated, but they will be similar. For example, in the case of Spirogyra, the gametes, they are non-motile, meaning they are non-flagellated, but they are similar in size.
Yes, ma'am.
In the case of Eulothrix, the gametes are motile, meaning they have a flagella present, but they are similar in size. So here the basic thing is that it doesn't matter whether they are whether they have the flagella present or not, but they have to be similar in size. Clear? That is isogamous sexual reproduction.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Then comes the N-isogamous. N-isogamous means the gametes are now not similar in size, they are dissimilar. Such as in the case of Eudornia, one is a bigger gamete, the other is a smaller gamete. Okay? And the
Yes, ma'am.
last case is the oogamous. Now, oogamous is when there is one egg cell which is non-motile. Like the female gamete will be large and it will be non-motile. The male gamete will be small as compared to the female gamete. It could be motile or it could be non-motile. So whenever the fusion of a smaller male gamete takes place with a larger non-motile, like here, female gamete is non-motile and it is large. That's fixed.
Yes,
Okay, so that is called as oogamous. So this takes place in the case of volvox and fucus. These are the examples of algae. Okay. Any doubts up until now?
No, ma'am.
All right.
No, ma'am.
Now, after this, we talk about the classes of algae. Okay, remember, keep pots clean. So now we have discussed the phylum, and now the inner to the phylum, we have the different classes of the phylum, right? So we are discussing the phylum or the division algae. So in the division algae, there are three classes of algae. And what is the basis of a division? Pigment. Which colored pigment they have, which type of color they have. So there are three types of algae depending upon the color: chlorophyce, Pophyce, rhodophyce. See this word CEAE, whenever it is written as a suffix, it is pronounced as C. Okay, like chlorophyce,
Yes, ma'am.
rhodophyce, Pophyce. Okay, now chlorophyce, these are the green algae. Pophyce are the brown algae and rhodophyce are the red algae. So here you can clearly see that we are distributing the algae into different classes on the basis of which pigment is present in them, which color is present in them, right? So the first one is chlorophyce. So these are commonly known as the green algae, and these are the pigments that you find in them: chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, carotene, and xanthophyll. Okay, these are the different types of pigments that you find in them. You can see that I have used green color for green algae.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
so when we talk about their color, so they are usually grass green in color. Why? Because if chlorophyll A is present and chlorophyll B is present, then obviously they are going to have green color, right? They are grass green in color. Where is the color present? So obviously you know that chlorophyll is present inside the chloroplast, right? The
Yes, ma'am.
chloroplast contains the chlorophyll. And what is a chloroplast?
A plastid present
Very
inside the
good.
cell.
Yeah, it is a plastid. Is it present in animals?
No.
No, definitely not. So now in the case
Hmm.
of algae, the chloroplast, they can be of different shapes. It can be disc-like, so we call it as discoid. It can be ribbon-like, and even it can be cup-shaped. That varies. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, in the green algae, the plant body can be unicellular, it can be colonial, or it can be filament. Okay, it can be either of the three types. Furthermore, this is very important to remember that what is the name of the storage body that they have. So the storage body of the green algae is called as pyrenoid. And what does it store? It stores the proteins and the starch. This is very important.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you know, like in the exams, they will ask you to differentiate between green algae, brown algae, and red algae for like 5 marks questions, maybe. So you have to put these points into it. Like unicellular colonial, that's fine. But these are the actually defining features of it. Okay. Now in them, since they are plants, obviously they have cell wall. So the cell wall is of two layers. The outer one is made up of pectin and the inner is of the cellulose. Okay. When we
Yes,
talk
ma'am.
about their reproduction, so in them, the vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation. The asexual reproduction takes place by motile zoospores, meaning those zoospores that are flagellated, that have a flagella present on. And sexual reproduction can be either of the types. It can be isogamous also, anisogamous also, oogamous. Talking about the examples or the members of chlorophyceae, we have Chlamydomonas, Volvox, Eulothrix, Spirogyra, Cara. All of these are green algae. They will be green in color.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
After that, there comes the brown algae. Now, brown algae, they are found in marine habitats. And why are they like this thing brown in color? Because of the presence of they also have chlorophyll A, but they don't have chlorophyll B. Instead, they have chlorophyll C. Then they have carotenoid, they have xanthophyll. Okay, now their color, like in them, despite of having chlorophyll and chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, the amount of xanthophyll is a lot, because of which they sort of give an olive green to brown shades because of the amount of xanthophylls. Now, they also come in various sizes and forms. For example, ectocarpus is an example of a brown algae, which is simple, branched, and filamentous. Its body is filament-like. Then there are kelps. Kelps, they are massive algae, like big algae. Example, Laminaria macrocystis. So they are branched and they reach up to 100 meters of height. Imagine how big they are. Now, in the brown algae, the food is stored in laminarin or mannitol. Like the food storage structure is called as laminarin or mannitol. And what does it stores? It stores complex carbohydrates, stores sugars. Whereas when we saw the green algae, we saw that it stores protein and starch. See how difference is there?
Yes, ma'am.
These are the things that you have to remember. Now, in them, the cell wall is made up of cellulose, and instead of pectin, they have algin. right? Remember, chlorophyceae had pectin layer, but now
Yes, ma'am.
they are
Hmm.
covered by a coat of algae. Now, in them, the plant body is a little bit differentiated. Like, apart from being a thallus, you can find a little differentiation. And its structure is divided into hold fast, stipe, and front. Hold fast is the part of the body that is held at the bottom, which is responsible for attachment, like this.
Hmm.
Stipe is this stalk part, and this frond is the leaf-like photosynthetic organ. Leaf-like, it's not leaf. It's an organ that looks like a leaf. It's
Hmm.
not a leaf. Okay. Apart from
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
the members of the Phaeophyceae, they contain air bladders in them so that they can have buoyancy because they live in the water, so they might sink. So
Hmm.
to give them
Hmm.
the upward force, air bladders are present. Now, vegetative
Yes, ma'am.
reproduction, fragmentation, asexual reproduction. Now, they also have motile zoospores, but theirs is biflagellate, meaning all the zoospores that they are going to have, they will have two flagella.
Hmm.
Sexual reproduction can be isogamous, anisogamous, oogamous, whichever. And the gametes are usually pyriform. Remember when I was talking about the isogamous, I showed pictures like this, dissimilar or
Yes, ma'am.
similar like this. So the
Hmm.
shape of the gamete, when they are pear-like, we call it as pyriform gametes. So all the gametes in them,
Hmm.
they are pyriform.
Yes,
Examples
ma'am.
of the brown algae includes Ectocarpus, Dictyota, Sargassum, and Fucus. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts up until now? Anything you want to ask?
No, 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 ma'am.
Okay. Now see, as far as your chapters and preparations are going, how do you prepare for your test or examination? Can you tell me? Like,
Preparation
what
meaning
is your, like, yeah, what is your strategy? How do you study?
I usually revise from time to time to memorize it.
You revise
Or
the
if I can't
chapters.
memorize a
Huh.
thing, I write it down like multiple times if I can't memorize, in case I can't.
Okay. Yes, good. Yeah, it's better that, once you like read something, once you learn something, then to fix it in your brain, you write it somewhere.
Hmm.
Once you write it, it's like
Hmm.
signed up. It's there in your brain, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Other than the
Hmm.
fact, this like, in the examinations, there are 2 marks questions, 3 marks questions, 5 marks questions, right? So
Yes,
whenever
ma'am.
you are writing those questions, write according to the marks that the question
Hmm.
carries, right? For
Yes, ma'am.
example, if it is a
Yes,
two
ma'am.
marks question, do not write a 2 page long answer. Your marks will be
No, two to
deducted then
three
and
points
there.
are sufficient. Hmm.
Huh. One para, more than enough. A good para, which
Hmm.
like perfect information, more than enough. Never start your
Hmm.
answers directly. Write the sentence like, what is this? So these are whatever you want. Like, do not just directly
Hmm.
write. Other than if it is a 5 marks question, now in 5 marks questions, you have to give a proper description. Everything you know about the topic, the 5 marks answer would be long. It
Hmm.
should be descriptive, right? Properly explained with examples, and if possible, make diagrams. Wherever you
Hmm.
think there is a possibility. And see, for the diagrams also, for example, if you've drawn any diagram, okay. Now, as far as the diagrams are concerned, for example, you drew this, now pick a side, whether you want to choose a right side or the left side. And all the labelings must be done at one side only. You shouldn't
Hmm.
do
Yes, ma'am.
labelings at both sides. This is very, very wrong. It's not attractive.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So just pick a side. You can do it at the left. You can do it at the right. It's okay. Now, normally, just like how whenever, like, do you use Instagram?
No, ma'am.
No, you don't. Or anyway, in just general, whenever someone posts a picture, right, they put a caption to the picture, right, to explain
Hmm.
what this
Yes,
picture is. Same way, you have to give a caption for your diagram also to explain to the teacher what they are doing or what they are seeing. So for that, whatever diagram you've drawn, below it you write figure, FIG, put a colon, and then write whatever you have drawn. So in this way,
yes, ma'am.
The teacher will know, or sort of, you give them the power to imagine that, see, this is what I've drawn. Now you imagine whatever you want.
Hmm.
Right? This is what I've drawn.
Hmm.
Right? So whenever you are
Yes,
drawing a
ma'am.
diagram, like for these chapters, I don't think you have to draw any diagrams. But like whenever
Hmm.
you're explaining, for example, you're explaining the different types of gamete situation. For that, you can explain it with a diagram. So where, like in
Hmm.
biology in general, wherever possible, try to give as many diagrams as possible, because that will make your
Yes, ma'am.
answer very attractive. The teacher will be
Hmm.
inclined to give you marks. And if you're
Hmm.
writing any scientific name, never ever forget to underline them. Very important. This
Yes,
is
ma'am.
very important.
Hmm.
Always start the genus name with a capital letter and the species name with a small letter, and underline them
Yes,
separately.
ma'am.
This underlining thing, it has been taken so seriously in the field of science that if a person is doing PhD, or let's just say if a person is doing some sort of research. Okay, so in the
Hmm.
research, papers are published. So for example, if I'm
Yes,
doing a
ma'am.
research on a plant and I've written the scientific name of the plant wrongfully, my paper will get
Hmm.
this thing, uh, cross mark, or it will get rejected.
Hmm.
That I'll be supposed to check the scientific notations and check the
Hmm.
binomial nomenclature rules and everything. So it's very important. Okay. And
Hmm.
you have an
Yes, ma'am.
upcoming test here at Learnivio also.
Hmm.
When is it?
On Saturday.
On Saturday. Yeah. So when we'll yeah, I'll see your performance in that, and try to give your best. Right? Wherever possible,
Yes,
try to
ma'am.
give. And as far as I've seen you, after every class, I think the topics are there in your mind, which is mashallah very
Hmm.
good thing that you grasp on easily. So it's good you keep it up. And if you be like this, the 11th is going to go very smoothly. Very nice.
Inshallah. Yes, ma'am.
Inshallah. Yes. All right. So now you can note down a little bit. Then we'll move on to the
Hmm.
next class. Or shall I complete algae?
We can complete.
Yeah, we'll complete. So now the third class of algae is rhodophyceae. Now, the word rhodo only means red. So these are the red
Hmm.
algae. Now, in them, these are the pigments present. R phycoerythrin, R phycocyanin, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll D. Chlorophyll A is found in all of the classes. Why?
Hmm.
It's found in all of them
It's
without
common, so
description. Huh, right.
I think to produce their own food, that's why it's common in all of them.
But chlorophyll is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll A is
Hmm.
also there. Chlorophyll D is also
Hmm.
there. So why chlorophyll A is common to all of
Hmm. Maybe because they're aquatic.
them? No. See, the reason why it's
No.
common, it's because the chlorophyll A is the chief photosynthetic pigment.
Hmm.
Okay. It is the main photosynthetic pigment. No other pigment is the main one. This is the main photosynthetic pigment. That is that.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now in them, since they are red in color, it means that the red pigment will be a lot in them. So the most dominant pigment in the rhodophyceae is the R phycoerythrin, which is a red colored pigment. Now, in terms
Hmm.
of their habitat, they are the warm marine organisms. Warm marine means they are found in those areas where light is, like you can say, where there is the warm environment. In those areas, you will find the rhodophytes. And you can find them in the well-lit
Hmm.
regions also, like those parts of the water body that are directly in contact with the sun. And you can also find them at the base of the oceans also, like in a lot of depth where light doesn't reach. They can be found in both of the
Hmm.
places. Their cell wall is
Yes,
made
ma'am.
up of cellulose, pectin, and they have a hydrocolloid present in them, such as the agar. Okay, so agar is found in the like red algae. It's like an additional structure found. Now, food
Hmm.
is stored in the form of full Floridian starch. Now, see, their food storage structure, again, a different thing. Floridian starch. Vegetative reproduction
Hmm.
takes place by fragmentation. Asexual reproduction takes place by non-motile spores. Sexual reproduction is oogamous. Okay, it's not all of them. It's oogamous.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am.
And the gametes are non-motile. And remember, out of the different classes of algae, Rhodophyceae is the only class that has no motile structures found. They have none. Like
Hmm.
nor their asexual spores, nor their sexual, none of their spore or no life cycle or no stage in their life has any motile stage. All of the stages are not motile. None of the motile structures are found. So Rhodophyceae have no motile stage in their life cycle. None whatsoever. Examples of
Hmm.
Rhodophyceae are Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria, and Gelidia. Okay? When I was in
Yes,
class
ma'am.
11, I used to learn it like P squared G squared. Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria, Gelidia. Okay?
Hmm. Yes, ma'am.
So with this, we have completed the different classes of algae. Now see, algae, they are of very, very big useful to us. Like they're very important for human use also. How? Let us see their economic importance. First of all, in the water bodies, since algae is there and they are photosynthetic in nature, it means that in the water body, they'll be doing photosynthesis. If they are
Hmm.
doing photosynthesis, that means that they are making food in the water. And if
Hmm.
they are
Yes, ma'am.
making food in the water, then they are the producers. Obviously, they are, right?
Hmm.
So they are like they do a lot of carbon dioxide fixation because during photosynthesis, the CO2 molecule, like the fixation of the CO2 molecule takes place to form the
Hmm.
glucose molecule, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
at
ma'am.
least half of the CO2 fixation by the process of photosynthesis is done by the algae in the ocean. Because of which, other than producing the food, what is the byproduct of photosynthesis?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. So because it is also releasing oxygen in the water body, so the dissolved oxygen in the ocean also increases. It means more and more oxygen
Hmm.
for the aquatic organisms, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So first thing that the algae is important for is photosynthesis. Then the next is obviously they are the primary producers of energy rich compounds in the oceanic life or the water bodies. Now there are
Hmm.
many algae that are eaten such as spirulina. You might have heard about single cell protein. Have you?
Hmm.
It
I
is the
think so, ma'am.
food that astronauts take with them to the space. It's like they are packed
Hmm.
with nutrients and they are very tiny also. So many
Hmm.
algae are edible. Like many people eat them. So such as spirulina. Okay, they are bluish in color.
Hmm.
Then the last is like the fucus and the laminaria. These are the examples of which type of algae?
Mucus and laminaria, the Phaeophyceae.
Pheophytes. Very good. Brown algae.
Hmm.
Very good. So they are great sources of iodine. Okay, salt. Like salt has iodine in it, so iodine can be produced from fucus and laminaria. Clear? So these
Hmm.
are the
Yes, ma'am.
different economic importance of the algae. Different classes, each of them have their own particular function to perform. After that, there comes the bryophytes, which is the second division of the kingdom plant. Now they are the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Why? Because they are found in this land, like on the land, you can find bryophytes, but for their reproduction, they will require water. That is why
Hmm.
they are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom. Now, talking about their characteristics, so they are non-vascular. What is the meaning of non-vascular? That they do not have
They
the
don't have
vascular.
any vascular tissues.
Yes,
Hmm.
they do not have any vascular tissues because again, water is very near to them. They are terrestrial and they are multicellular. Now, you will not find any such unicellular forms in them. Where are they found? So
Hmm.
they are found in those areas which are damp, which are humid and shaded. You cannot find them in Saharan desert. No. They will be present near
Hmm.
to the water body, anywhere near to the water body. The plant body is usually small, and now their body is a little bit differentiated as compared to algae. Algae was like strictly thallus, no differentiation, right? But in
Hmm.
bryophytes, you have
Yes, ma'am.
root-like, stem-like structures in. Okay, root-like, stem-like, not true stem, true root, or true leaves, no, but root-like, stem-like,
Hmm.
leaf-like structures. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Now, in them, the root-like structures that are there, we call it as the rhizoids. The rhizoids could be unicellular or multicellular. What does the rhizoid do? It is like responsible that wherever these bryophytes will be situated, the rhizoids will hold the soil. It will be responsible for attachment. Okay, it will like
Hmm.
sort of hold the substratum or the place where they have to attach. So that holding part, that attaching part will be the function of the rhizoid. Now, since they
Hmm.
do not have the vascular tissues, conducting tissues, so they are non-vascular or avascular. Now, one more thing. See, this funda in plants is that the plant body, they can be of two types. The plant body can be a gametophyte if the whole plant body is haploid. And they can be sporophyte if the plant body is diploid. So normally we have
Hmm.
seen that the gametes are haploid, right? And the normal
Yes,
cells
ma'am.
are diploid. But here the plant body can be haploid or diploid. Okay.
Hmm.
So in the case of bryophytes, the main plant body is gametophyte. Gametophyte will make the gametes. Sporophyte will make the spores. Okay, remember that. Gametophyte
Hmm.
makes the gametes. Sporophyte makes the spores. So in them, the main plant body is gametophytic and it produces the gametes and it is free living, meaning it is not attached to anything else. It is free living.
Hmm.
Whereas when we
Yes,
talk
ma'am.
about the sporophyte, so the sporophyte is also found in them. So it's like their plant body, it sort of variates between gametophyte and sporophyte. Both the types of plant body are found in them. Okay.
Hmm. Yes,
So
ma'am.
the sporophyte is dependent on the gametophyte. It is not free living. Whereas the gametophyte is free living. And
Hmm.
whenever the sporophytes develop, they are always attached to the gametophyte.
Hmm.
Now,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
gametophytic plant body, it generates the gametes, meaning it is responsible for the formation of gametes. But always remember this one important point, that it forms the gametes by mitosis. Normally, gametes are formed by
Hmm.
meiosis. But here, the plant body itself is haploid. So, if it will undergo
Hmm.
meiosis, it will even be n by 2, isn't it? Half of the
Hmm.
one set also. So, that is why it
Yes,
produces
ma'am.
the gametes by mitosis. Okay.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Now the gametophyte, it contains the sex organs of the bryophytes. Now in them, the sex organs, they are multicellular. They are of two types, male sex organ and the female sex organ. The male sex organ of the bryophyte is called as antheridium, whereas the female sex organ is called as archegonium. Now, the male sex organ will be producing the male gamete. The female sex organ will be producing the female gamete. Now, the
Hmm.
antheridium, it produces biflagellated antherozoids. Antherozoids are the male gametes that are biflagellated. It has two flagella.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Archegonium is like a flask-shaped female sex organ which produces a single egg, that is the female gamete. Now,
Hmm.
for the fertilization of this male gamete with the female gamete, for this, water is very important. So once the gametes are formed, the male gametes, they get released in the water, and then with the help of their flagella, they swim to the archegonia for fertilization. Once they reach
Hmm.
the archegonia, they reach the egg cell and fertilize. A zygote
Yes,
is
ma'am.
formed, and further the zygote will like start going different types of division, which are called as mitotic division. From the zygote,
Hmm.
embryo will be formed, And now this will develop into a diploid sporophyte. Did you get it?
Hmm. Yes, ma'am.
So, for example, haploid parent. Okay, this is the male parent, and then the haploid female parent, right? So this is the female,
Hmm.
right? Now they will produce the haploid male gamete and the haploid female gamete. These two gametes will fuse and form a diploid zygote. The diploid zygote will turn into a diploid embryo, and the diploid embryo will become the diploid sporophyte. So from the gametophyte, sporophyte is being generated.
Hmm.
Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Getting confused?
A little.
See, in the plants or in the kingdom Plantae, the plant body has two types. It can be haploid and it can be diploid. But both of them are found in one plant. It's like stages in their
Hmm.
life. So the first stage in the case of like the main plant body is gametophytic, that is responsible for the production of gametes, and it is haploid in nature. After,
Hmm.
like, since it is haploid, so it will form the gametes by mitosis. Now those gametes will fuse and become like form a zygote, which is diploid. Now that zygote will further develop into the embryo, which will further develop into the diploid sporophyte. So now from the gametophytic plant body, the sporophytic plant body has been made. But like
Hmm.
I said, that the gametophytes, they are free living, but the sporophytes are not, right? So the
Hmm.
sporophytes,
Yes,
they are
ma'am.
going to be attached to the gametophyte so that they can derive nourishment or nutrition for them, from them.
Hmm.
Now the gametophyte plant body is photosynthetic. It will do photosynthesis. And then the sporophyte plant body, like the name suggests, sporo, it will generate spores. And since it
Hmm.
is diploid, so it will make spores by meiosis. It will undergo meiosis to form these spores. So here you can write like this also, that from the sporophyte, the spores are made that are haploid, and it is made by meiosis.
Yes, ma'am.
Now these spores, they will generate and become a gametophyte yet again. So it's like a full life cycle. Starting from the gametophyte, if you start from here, the gametophytic plant body is of two types. It bears sex organs. Antheridium is the
Hmm.
male sex organ. Archegonium is the female sex organ. Now the antheridium, it gives rise to the antherozoid by mitosis. This is very important to remember because gametophytic plant body is haploid. The
Hmm.
archegonium will be giving rise to the egg again by mitosis. Both of them will fuse with the
Yes,
help
ma'am.
of water and they will become a
Hmm.
diploid zygote. This diploid zygote will undergo mitosis and form the embryo. The embryo will further become the diploid sporophyte. Now this sporophyte, since it is diploid, it will undergo meiosis to produce the spores. And when these spores will germinate, the gametophytic plant body will be formed. So this is the life
Hmm.
cycle of the bryophytes. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Furthermore, the bryophytes, they are of two types, liverworts and mosses. These are the types of bryophytes. Now, liverworts, the best example of it is Mercantia. So in them, they are found in the moist habitats such as the marshy ground, the moist soil, the banks of the streams, and even at the barks of the tree. They are found in all of these places. Okay, now in them, the main plant body is thalloid, thallus-like, not differentiated into leaf-like, stem-like structures. And the thallus is
Yes,
flat.
ma'am.
Flat means dorsi-ventrally flat, meaning flat from the back also and front also, like this. Flat, just like platyhelminth.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Now there are liverworts. One example is porella, in which leaf-like appendage are present in two rows on the stem-like structure. So leaf-like and stem-like structures are found in the liverworts called as porella. Okay.
Hmm.
Now,
Yes,
in
ma'am.
them, the asexual reproduction, it takes place by fragmentation or gamma cups, gamma formation. Now, fragmentation of the thalli takes place basically like upon maturation, it breaks into fragments. Each of the fragments
Mm.
become the new organism. But gamma,
Yes,
these
ma'am.
are the asexual buds of the liverworts. They are green and multicellular asexual buds that develop inside cup-like structures called as gamma cups. So gamma cups, they are present on the thallus only, and as they mature, the gamma gets detached from the parent and becomes a new organism. So here no gamete fusion is happening since so it is asexual. When we
Hmm.
talk about the sexual reproduction in them, so the male and the female sex organs are there, antheridium, archegonium,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
they can be
Hmm.
produced on the same thallus or the different thalli. Like two
Hmm.
different thalluses, male and female, or in one only, both, like bisexual, unisexual condition. The
Yes, ma'am.
sex
Hmm.
organs produces the gametes. Then again, the same thing will happen. The gametes will fuse, form a zygote. The zygote will form the embryo by mitosis, and then the embryo will become the diploid sporophyte. And when we talk
Hmm.
about the sporophytic structure, so the sporophyte's body has foot, seta, and capsule. See this thing. This is the particular picture of a liverwort in which this part of the plant is the gametophytic plant body and the above part is the sporophytic plant body. The sporophytic plant body is diploid. The gametophytic plant body is haploid. It will give rise to the gametes and the
Yes, ma'am.
sporophytic plant body will give rise to the spores. Furthermore,
Hmm.
the sporophytic plant body, it has been divided into three parts: capsule, seta, and foot. It is made up of three parts. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Whereas the gametophytic plant body, it has like seed. They said that it has leaf-like structures, isn't it? It's like
Hmm.
leaves-like structure
Yes,
are
ma'am.
there, and they have rhizoids, which are root-like structures. What is the function of rhizoid?
Hmm. To stay in one place.
To attach to the substrate, isn't it?
Hmm.
Now, in the
Hmm.
sporophyte, the capsule are present, and inside this capsule, the spores are produced by meiosis. And once the spore will be produced,
Hmm.
it will give rise to the gametophyte yet again. The same, because it is a member of bryophyte only, the whole entire reproduction is same. It's just that the body structure is different. We saw two examples in the liverworts. One is mercantia and the other is porella. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any
Yes, ma'am.
doubts?
No, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Now let us move on to the writing part. So you were
Hmm.
writing the deuteromycetes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, one second. Oh, can you see the screen?
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I can see.
So phycomycetes, ascomycetes, these were done. Basidio also.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Done, ma'am. 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 Done. Dharma. Dharma.
All right, just 1 second. Let me load the next one for you. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.